Okay, hi, Modified Rabbit here. Here we go again. This is our second try with this. I got the settings figured out for the lighting again. Yeah, well, reset them. Um, so much better. And it seems to have somewhat at least cleared up the focus issue. So we've got that figured out. Yay! Okay, so for later people that are going to be watching this, um, I'm going to re-explain that I know what I did in the last attempt at this live, which I'll have to delete later. I'm sorry that I've missed so many lives this past month. I've had a lot of health issue stuff. And last week I was going to do the live, but um, I was waiting on this palette to come in and it didn't come in on time. And I had already, I was all ready and set up to do this comparison. And, I didn't want to do this review on its own. I wanted to do a comparison for those that want an alternative to um, this specific Jeffree Star palette, and I wanted this or the Lime Crime gray shade palette. So yeah, that's why that didn't happen. I was like, well, it didn't come in on time, so you know. Uh, and anyway, so once again, like the last attempt at this live, I'm going to preface this with I did not purchase this palette. I won it from a challenge, a makeup challenge in the Makeup by Design Facebook group. They're awesome. They have all sorts of challenges and all sorts of prizes and stuff, and this happened to be mine. So that's where I got this. I did not purchase it, so I do not support Jeffree Star. I'm not going to give a biased, review on this, but at the same time, I don't give my money to him any longer. I did a long time ago. I got a couple of products. I'll use them until they're gone, and that's it. So I just want people to know that. But at the same time, I do want to do comparison with something that's an alternative and whatnot. So that's what this live review is for. um, anyway, good news. We don't have to deal with this um, webcam issue for much longer. I don't have the connector piece yet because payday does not happen till Friday. So maybe we might have to deal with this one more live next Monday, maybe. But the Monday after that, we should not have to deal with this webcam any longer because I have my new camera. It's a photography camera, but it can do live streaming with the proper connection piece. This is just my backpack thingy that comes with all of the stuff that came with the package for the camera. I'm making payments on it. But I'm very excited because it's a new it's a much nicer little upgrade to my old camera because my old photography camera could not do the live like streaming or anything like that. It didn't do great with videos. It did pretty good with pictures and stuff, but this one's much better. It's a Canon as well, so my other one was an Icon, and it's an older, camera. So, I'm very happy to get the upgrade. I'm very excited to play with it. I'm very excited to not have to deal with this webcam issue stuff anymore. This webcam's great and all. I'll probably use it for Twitch streaming for my game stuff, but that's about it. It's just too, it's not user friendly for people like me. And it's got too much going on with it. It's nice quality and everything with the picture and stuff, but you have to keep up with it. And I'm just not very great with keeping up with electronics. So I am excited to not have to deal with it anymore, honestly. I mean, like it's an expensive webcam for a reason. It's really great. It's just not great for me because I am just not great with electronics, honestly. I'm just really not. So so yeah. Anyway, let's get into this. Now that we've got all those little, announcements and stuffs out of the way. What we're going to do, since this is like a comparison thing, I put primer on both eyes. What we're going to do is go through swatching these. We'll probably swatch this one first, just kind of go through. We'll swatch like usual, and then we'll swatch these. And then what I'm going to do is do the same look on both eyes, one eye each palette. and we're going to try and find the closest to each of the colors that I can. So I'm probably going to pick like a dark shade, do like a medium shade, and pick like a lighter, maybe possibly shiny shade for right here. So there's going to be 3 to 4 colors on each eye from both palettes, and I'm going to try and make sure I pick as close as possible to each color so that you guys can see the difference between the two and decide, hey, I really think the color book is nice enough quality that I don't feel like I want to, or need to get the Jeffree Star palette, or you might decide that no, I really like this Jeffree Star palette quality, and regardless of whatever's going on with the drama stuffs and the problematic stuffs, I want to buy it anyways because the quality is that great, and that's what I want. And that's totally up to you. I personally won't purchase Jeffree Star stuff from, whatever. I'd probably only ever purchase this from Mercari or anything, like to somebody else that doesn't want it. But, purchasing from them won't, like from a store, if he purchases from some other store, like, if Morphe still sold his stuff or something, then they'd still continue to buy his stuff from him to supply it in their store. And so, like, I won't purchase it from like a big store. The only thing I would maybe purchase a Jeffree Star product from with my own money would be like Mercari or something, somebody that's trying to, it's kind of used or whatever, trying to get rid of it. But honestly, I probably still won't. But I will use this though. I'm definitely, Jeffree Star products do have pretty nice quality. I'm very excited to see how this holds up, and see how well, like how good we've got a comparison for these. Because, once this runs out, because I'm going to use it, I'm going to use it up. There's no point in me not using it up. I want it, and, I'm not going to let it sit in the side of the room. Just like all my other makeups, I like to try and use everything I've got because it's a waste if I don't. But once I run out, if this holds up real well, it's good to know that, hey, I can go and buy this if I want a gray shade palette, and it'll hold up just fine, and I can do my looks that I want to do. So for, I'm Babylon because that's just how I am. Just keep babbling. Anyway, let's get started because I'm just gonna keep babbling anyways, and just holding these up and babbling. Anyway, it's been so long since I've like done a nice proper live, you guys. I'm so out of it after October. It was just awful. Well, the final day was pretty nice. Well, night, anyways. My partner did a nice little surprise when I got back from work Halloween night. I worked until I got back at close to midnight. So technically, I didn't get to see the surprise until November 1st, super duper early in the morning. But for me, it's still Halloween night because I hadn't gone to sleep yet. Ooh, genius. Okay, so we've got his face. Okay, these. I swatched these on the Makeup by Design live that I did when I opened the package, just, because they were wanting me to swatch them and stuff. So, but this is what these are. They look very pretty. Let's see. So we're mainly going to probably end up using, the actual gray shades because that's what is in this color book palette. They do have some other colors in the color book palette as well. So they're actually pretty close. So one sec, I will get the color book palette opened up and get this plastic sheets off of there. And then we'll hold them both up. Here's the color book palette. And what I think is really cool about, I kind of got excited and swatched these on my own, just real fast. What I think is really cool is in between these two, which I've seen palettes like this before that they have multiple whatever. They're usually pretty damn cheap palettes, and they don't have anything dividing these two things, which really sucks. But I love this, that it's got, and it's not just like some plastic sheet. It's an actual like plastic piece that flips back and forth between the two. So you can, you don't have to worry about anything spilling over into these other colors, because for this color book palette, what's going on here is we've got pretty much just the exact same shades on each side, except for this side's matte and this side is more of like a foil type thing going on. So that is the difference between the two sides in this, which I think is super awesome. And I actually really want to get a hold of their red Colourbook palette, which is for some reason like super cheap right now. It's like $10 when this is like, I think 20, 25, something around there, like between 20 and 25, depending on where you're getting it from. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm like really excited to, oh, I was gonna show these two palettes. Sorry, it's really hard to get open. I'm like, ugh, I don't have nails, so it just, anyway. All right, let's hold these two up together. So we've got these. So as you can see, there are actually fairly similar colors in there. So we're gonna, when we do the eye look, we're gonna try and find the most similar colors possible to each other. And I don't think I'll have a huge problem doing that. So that's pretty nice. So we're gonna swatch the cremated palette first. And then we're gonna swatch the Colourbook palette. And then we're gonna go ahead and do our eye look, and then we're gonna go with our final thoughts on everything. So all right, let's get this swatched. I'm not going to really bother much with the names on the shades because that's not really the focus of this video. It's more a comparison. These are very smooth, so they feel nice. All right, we're gonna. It's like a matte black. That's very pretty. That's all right. I'm kind of gonna talk a little bit of how I feel about these colors as I go, just a little, since we're doing so many swatches and stuff. Yeah, let me get. Oh, I should have opened this beforehand. All right. So, as far as this goes, I'm not keen on the matte black. It's not very good. It's not very black. The sparkly black, though, that's a very pretty color. I'm actually pretty impressed with that. This next shade right here, it's not a great matte, honestly. And this one right here is pretty good. It seems to be a shimmer color, kind of like this one. So yeah, it's pretty okay. It's kind of a half and half so far on these swatches. I definitely very much enjoy that sparkly black though, so that's a very pretty color. I'm just really unimpressed with that matte black, and it's kind of weird that he would make that so poorly, like that matte black. That's just not impressive whatsoever, and I'm just very surprised by that, especially considering that he made the statement that I disliked very much, which was calling it, saying that it was going to be the Gothic Dream palette, and it definitely is not. But yeah, I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna let that down. Calling it that is just, it's not a Gothic Dream palette, but it fits its name, the cremated palette. I'll say that much. Let's see. All right, let's get some more of these shades so we can get these swatches going and get into the next palette, because the next one has quite a few shades. So I don't want to make this video 2 hours long. Hope you guys do that. All right. Got a matte right there, which is pretty good matte considering the others were not. That's good. That's a very pretty color. That's a decent matte as well. And that one's kind of eh. So we've got a couple good mattes in here at least. The shimmers, like the foils, seem to be clearly the main focus of this palette. The foils are very pretty, especially like the pretty shimmery ones. I'm sorry if you hear my dog snoring. He's snoring. It's so cute. I love him. Speaking of which, I'm working on some t-shirt designs. Varying in designs, but one or two of them are going to be revolving around my dog and my little miniature comics that I do with him and my cat and whatnot. So let me turn this up just a little bit more. There we go. Get just a little brighter. Nice. pull out another one of these because we used up the last one. Alrighty. We're going to finish up the second row. And we got 2 more rows after that. A couple more foils and a couple more mats. Alright. Let that focus. It's a very nice foil. Very nice foil. Decent matte. It's a pretty okay matte. I'm really bummed though that the darker mattes are just not pulling through up there. The black and whatnot. Very, very disappointed in that black matte. Very bummed about it, you guys. Alright, so far, so good for the most part. Alright, I have to like extra wipe it off because of the shimmer parts. Very shimmery, they like to leave behind a lot. Alright, my dog and his snoring is just absolutely... Alright, let's go to this third row right here. Oh, that one. Trying to pop out of its casing. Dang. Really like, weird. Alright, I've got kind of like a shimmer one right here. Weird. It kind of looks like the shimmer is just kind of sitting on top too, which is going to be a big bummer if that's the case. Alright, we got a foil first. Here, let this focus. Alright, we've got a foil. Pretty. This is supposed to be a shimmer. That's what I thought. Bummer. And we've got 2 mattes. That's a pretty good matte. That's not quite as impressive. So that shimmer, you can barely see a shimmer in it. Even in person, it's not impressive whatsoever. So honestly, probably should have just made that a matte. It's one of those things where you can see the shimmery stuff on top, but you can tell that once you actually dig into it, that shimmer is just pretty much for show on top. And I hate when that happens. I hate when palettes do that. It tricks you pretty much. I feel very tricked when that happens because it's like, ooh, you know, sparkly, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a really cool shimmer, and it's not a shimmer. It's a matte with like glitter on top of the pan. So that's a big bummer that he did that. But I've only seen a couple of palettes that honestly impress me when it comes to actual shimmer shades. I believe the Tati palette did that for me, I believe. Alrighty, we got the last 2 in this row. And we'll get into this 4th row. Some of these pans are a little uneven. He's so cute. I don't want to wake him up, so you guys are going to have to deal with the snoring occasionally. I'm so sorry. He's too cute. He's a little old man. He needs to sleep. Alright. I love him so much. Alright, so we got a matte, and it's an okay matte. And we got us another foil. And then we got 2 more mattes. That's pretty decent. That's not so great. A lot of fallout on that one. That's the last of this wipe up. And we'll get the last 4 colors swatched for you guys. I will have to say though, it does have quite a variety of shades. I mean, like, surprisingly, different colors and whatnot. So there's at least that. Alrighty, so we've got a foil, 2 mattes, and then an actual glitter. It's not like a shimmer shade, it's an actual like glitter. Like you can see the chunks in it and stuff, which I'm very wary of a lot of the time. So it's looks like it's gonna pull out as a metallic. So look at this. I'm pretty sure this is a foil anyway. Yeah, it's a foil. And then we got 2 mattes. That's a very unimpressive matte. as is that. Ooh, that's horrible. All right, let's go with this one. It's the glitter shade. And that glitter melts together pretty well, so it makes a pretty nice metallic. So it pretty much just looks like a foil. So he seems to really have focused on the foils in this palette, which is fine. I very much enjoy foils a lot. They do really well in the corner of the eye, and they're really good for if you use them on the full eye, you know, like I like to do anyways. It's a very eye-popping, you know, like look, you know, it's just like I like out there looks and stuff, so I don't really care for subtle. I don't do subtle a lot. So that's fine with me for the, you know, having lots of foils and stuff. All right, so we are going to go ahead and get into swatching the Colourbook palette. And then we're going to do a look, and then we'll go ahead and do like a basic overall thoughts on both. And a comparison, you know, thoughts on comparing and whatnot. Get this open. That's like one downfall I see of this palette. It's so hard for me to open, but it might not be like that for other people, but it definitely is for me. So what we're gonna do, I want to dig into these mattes first. So we're gonna start with the top and work our way down. So we've got a couple of rows of the dark shades, and then we've got, you know, some nice little gray shades right there, and then we've got more near the whites. And from what I did swatching the other day, a lot of these shades are so close in color that you might not be able to tell the difference over camera. Well, we'll see how we can over camera, but hopefully you can. In person, it's even kind of hard on some of the shades, especially the light, the top two, like the top row and the bottom row. It's very hard to tell the difference between all the shades in those two rows together. You know, like the very black shades and then the white shades. So we'll see. Alrighty, so you're gonna get this top row. Again, you might not be able to see the difference in the shades as well as I can, or you might be able to see it better than I can in person. You never know. We will see. That is a pretty nice matte. That one, not so much. Ooh, that's pretty nice too. Ooh, that's pretty nice. So you guys can see that a lot better than in person on camera. You can see the differences. I definitely like the dark, like the black, better on this palette for the matte than I do the cremated palette. Like the mattes seem to be so far, anyways, like better in general. And we'll see how we'll see how the foils hold up as soon as we get to those. But so far, these are pretty good, especially for its price range. You know, being like a you ever take a little $20 palette, you know, you get quite a few different shades, so it's pretty nice. All right, let's go to the next row. We've got another black shade, and we've got a kind of like a reddish dirt shade, slightly. Well, in the pan it looks a little reddish. I guess it's just a really dark brown. So there's a couple browns. This one looks like a greenish brown, and then we've got like a regular, kind of like a chestnut brown. Alrighty, so we've got like mostly browns in this row. So this palette definitely is one to compare with the cremated, since it does have like the browns, the grays, and the blacks, and the whites. So pretty much that cremated theme. Alright, get this last one. So pretty good. That one right there is not like the best matte, but the rest of them are pretty dang great. Like, that's pretty good. I'm very much enjoying these mattes. Like this, you know, can't wait to see how the whites go, because that white on that cremated palette was not good at all. That was probably about the worst matte on there was the white. I'm gonna grab out another one of these because that one's over with. to the side. So far, so good with those mattes. I'm really liking them. All right, we're gonna start getting into these grays. I'll like blow that off so it doesn't get into the whites. We're gonna get into these grays here. We've got a little bit like a greenish gray on the second one. Oh. There's quite a few different like shades of gray in this. I'm glad that the video shows it a lot better. A little flaky. That one's not that great for a matte. That one's not the best, but it's not too bad either. Getting to a light gray right there. Pretty good. Pretty good. Can't wait to see how all these work out with brushes. Alrighty. We got another row of grays, and then we get into the white shades. We got like full-on grays in this row. Okay. So then, that's pretty good. Now, keep in mind these are really light grays, so. The lighter seems to be getting a little less potent with the mattes, so I'm really trying to keep the hope alive for these whites. We'll see. We shall see. All right. I really hope you guys can hear me, because there's no way I can tell. I'm hoping my mic is working properly. I will be so bummed out if it's not. I really will. So I'll have to like review this next week. Alrighty. First row of kind of like the grayish whites. It's mostly grays, honestly. Just really, really light. Keep that focus. I'm so sorry, I'm so pale. They're pretty decent. They're not too bad. I'm just very, very pale, so like my face isn't as pale as the rest of me. It's funny. I should like see about swatching them on my hand. Honestly, not this last row since it's so light. Because like as you can tell, this hand is the one I stick out the car window when I drive, which, you know, for the weekends for my part-time job or whatever, so during the day. So it gets a little bit of sun as compared to this one. So you can see like there is a difference in the two. This one's a little bit darker, more close to my face shade, so. All right, let's get this last row. We've actually got a full white at the end of this last row, so I'm very excited to see how that looks. I'm gonna see about swatching it on my hand. Not the best. Sounds pretty okay. Pretty okay. Let's see this white. Yeah, it's all right. Definitely looks like something that would need a couple of layers, honestly, to get it nice and solid. But it might do better, you know, on the lid with primer, you know, with a brush. So we'll see. We'll definitely do in the inner right here at least. We'll do 4 shades, and the white on each palette will definitely be one of those shades, like the matte white at least, because we have to see those and how they work out. All right. Now we're going to. It's really hard to get the plastic piece back over this way. We're going to get into these foils. All right, excited. All right, we're going to start with the top row. We got the blacks. My mouth is very dry, and I forgot to get a drink. All righty, let's get this started. I'm very excited. I love foils, so very nice. Very nice. Like, ooh. That one not so great, but those first two are absolutely beautiful. Let's see about smoothing this out. Yeah, you can smooth it out a little bit. Yeah, just buff that out. Look at that. That is very pretty. Those are pretty good for, you know, a cheap palette. Pretty decent foils. They're not quite as shiny as the cremated foils so far anyways. But they're pretty decent. Again, for like a budget palette, get them buffed out and stuff, it looks pretty nice. Not awful at all. All right, let's get into this next bit. So we've got the browns and whatnot. Same shades. They'll just look a little different because they're foils. So like that green, it looks like we'll be able to see a lot more of the green shade in it, the greenish brown. Very nice. Pretty nice. This is that green. Oh yeah, you can definitely see that a lot better. It's much better than the matte version of it. So those are pretty nice. Look at that. Those are great. I really like that green one. That's pretty nice. These are like slightly more flaky than the cremated palette shades. But we've got pretty much like double the price between this and the, you know, cremated palette. This is the cheaper one, so I think it's so far holding up pretty well. So we're getting started into the grays. Ooh, I'm excited. These look, the lighter the shade, it looks like it's gonna get nice and shiny. Oh yes, so shiny. Yes. Look at these grays. That one's not as great. That one's pretty good. So that one right there isn't as impressive for coverage, but look at that. That's pretty nice. I like it. Look at my fingers. Ooh, shiny. So that's pretty good. That gives me high hopes for the white, which we'll probably also use because that'll probably be the best shiny to use for the inner corner for the look, since we'd be using an actual matte white. So gives me high hopes for it once we get to it. All right, we get the second row of grays. And I think these foils are where we're gonna see a lot of similar looking shades, honestly. Oh, did I not wipe this off my... Look at me, I'm going to try and go in here and get this off my wrist and not even wipe this off of here. That's so shiny all over my finger. Alrighty. Okay, now we're... Alrighty, here we go. Very nice. That one's alright. Not too great. That one's pretty nice. And that one's pretty good too. That one's probably the least best one out of all four of those. It's pretty good. Definitely leaves all the sparklies all over my fingers. I like see it's so shiny everywhere. Both of these palettes, all the shiny. All right, I need another one of these wipes. We got 2 more rows, you guys, and then we're gonna get into the actual makeup look. I'm excited. Very excited to see how they compare on the eyes. I am surprised that this is not a longer video so far. Don't jinx it. Alrighty. Next, so we've got the grayish white type row. Ooh, one of these looks kind of like a pinkish gray. That's kind of cool. I don't know if it'll come out that way, but in the pan it kind of looks like that. Yeah, it didn't come out that way. I mean, no, you can kind of, in person, you can see like a slightly pinkish sheen. You can kind of see it over the camera too. You kind of have to look real hard for it though. It isn't, you know, a super strong pink shade even in the pan, but you can see it. You just have to kind of look for it and know it's there. Oh yeah, definitely it's compared to the others, like when you put them up next to each other. You can see that slight pink tint to it. It's very pretty. I like it. It's like a very soft pink. Like extra soft. It's pretty nice. Very pretty. I like it. Look at the rules. All right, we get this last row. I'm excited to see it. What we're going to have. There's that there. Right on my head here. Alrighty. This last row going. My mouth is so dry, you guys. My medicine gives me dry mouth. It's horrible. So I'm like drinking a lot more, which I mean is good for me. You drink a lot more water and stuff. So, alrighty, let's get this last row going. Pretty. Decent-ish. And there's the white. Ooh, that white one's very pretty. Look at that. That's pretty nice. Not quite as bright as the foilish white at the end of the cremated palette, but it's pretty close. Again, like for its price, you know, range or whatever, that's a pretty good comparison for the, you know, the white between the two. So I'm fairly impressed with this palette. Definitely, I don't know if I was just swatching too fast the other day. I was just like very quickly swatching, but I wasn't quite as impressed with this Colourbook palette the other day when I swatched it, but it swatched a lot better today. I think I was just like doing it super fast just to see it because I didn't want to like take a whole bunch of time. So that probably might be why. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna get this and take just a second. We're going to find the dark color. We're gonna go with let's see. We'll do all mattes except for the inner corner, and we will do the white foil for the inner corner. So we'll do the mattes because, you know, that's what a lot of people are going to use for a lot of their looks is, you know, the matte and then an accent with the foil. So we're going to do a, we're going to do like a black, and we're going to do kind of like a darker gray, maybe one of like the brownish grays right there. And then we'll do the white and then do the foil white right there. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to do the white first because I don't want to like muddy up like the brush or whatever. I want to do the lighter shades and then work my way out. Well, we'll do the foil right after the matte white, but we'll do the foil after that, and then we'll work our way to the black. So that's what's going to happen. All right, so we're going to start with the I guess we'll start with like the Jeffree Star shade. I get like separate brushes for these. So I'm going to do this brush. Get some good bit on there. And we'll do 2 passes up. I don't know why I was like, I'm gonna go with the lightest color first, and I go and like dip into the black. You can tell like I'm really excited to like, I love black too much. Like wipe the stain brush off. Little ant just found his way up on my desk. Like all this stuff happens all at once. I swear, I'm so out of it. This is horrible. I'm sorry. All right, let's get this brush wiped off real quick. Actually, kind of did it with both. Both brushes. All right, get that all wiped off. Dry it off on my shirt. This one off too. There we go. All right. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and there we go. We'll go with this white right here. Do the white first. I swear, you guys. I don't want to use like a whole bunch of brushes because I'm like I still need to wash like a whole bunch back there, and I just really don't. I really don't want to deal with this. I hate washing brushes. Like I need something that just they'll just wash themselves, and it's not gonna like rip glass everywhere. Tap that off. Wow. Like tap all of it off. Damn. Alrighty. So let me get this little mirror up here. I can see what I be doing. And I already pre-primed my eyes, so that's the first pass. Go up here a little bit so you guys can see it more. We'll kind of do like a dramatic. I'm gonna do 2 passes. So that definitely does better than the swatch. So yeah, once you get that second pass through, it's pretty solid. Let's hope that this Colourbook palette does the same. Get it right over my eyebrows. Alrighty. Alright. Let's get over here and get this matte white. Uh-oh. This one doesn't look like it's swatched better, but you can't always trust them swatches. Uh-oh. One gets one more pass. It was a little bit better. See, this one, I think in order to get it at the same, like, white as the cremated white, so when you put it on your lids, I think it would need 3, maybe 4 passes instead of 2. I really want to just, like, make them the same. But at the same time, I do want to try and keep them at 2 passes because, like, I would like to make them the same to show that, you know, like, to see if this palette can do the same exact look, you know? Maybe we'll do that after. I'll, you know, like, touch it up or something to see if it can do the same exact thing. But, like, at the same time, I'd like to keep it at a certain amount of passes to show, you know, what each can do at that point. So, all right, let's get us kind of like we'll do the foil white here in this corner, which I should really be using like a, you know, harder brush. Okay, yeah, we gotta use a harder brush. Let me grab, see if I can find something. Where are you at? There's it. This will work too, because I want to do it underneath as well. use this little eyeliner brush. See what we can get. These don't seem to pick up as well on hard or soft brushes, which is a huge bummer. I really hope that the Makeup Revolution palette does properly. Yeah, this just is not picking up whatever, like whatsoever. It's just like, come on. Or I get swatches nicely. I might have to use my finger. Yeah, like it's just not. I'm gonna use my finger. We'll do the same process with the Makeup Revolution palette. That just doesn't want to go. Like, how disappointing. Like, it's swatched okay, but now it's like not wanting. I'll do the second pass. It's just like a big bummer. Look at that. Like, this is one of the ones that swatched really well, and it's just like not when it actually gets into going, you know, into action. It just doesn't want to like work properly. Bummer. Okay, let's go to the Makeup Revolution side. We're gonna do the same process that we did with the cremated palette, so that I swear to God, I'm trying to figure out how to get this this plastic thing like flipped without having to completely close the palette again. There we go. All right. Let's see if this picks up on a brush. It doesn't look like this wants to pick up on a brush either. Yeah. All right, let's try the harder brush and use this little eyeliner brush right here, so that we can try and get into that little corner. So this at least picks up with a harder brush a little bit. Not a whole bunch though. It really looks like you're just gonna have to use your finger. So we're gonna try a finger and see how well it does with the finger. Oh wow, that pops so much more like faster, like than the cremated palette one did. And get one more pass, just like the cremated did. Ooh, ooh, it's so nice. Okay, so they're kind of working the opposite with how they're actually working. As you can see, the cremated white, 2 passes, does a very nice solid white, but the Makeup Revolution white, it's probably going to take 3 or 4 passes to get a solid white like that. But they're very different. This is very kind of sparkly-ish, and this is more actual foil. Now, this in person is a lot more shiny than this played out. So I'm liking the Makeup Revolutions foil more than I'm liking the cremated palettes foil so far, with the white at least. I do like the black foil really well in the cremated palette, but this Makeup Revolutions palette black foil is pretty nice too. But you know, it doesn't have quite that nice pop as the one foil does in here. But other than that, so far I am liking the white foil better for the Makeup Revolution palette. All right, let's get into the gray. I think we'll just go with like a dark gray instead of like a, well, debating. I kind of do want to try a brownish color, but I'm not really. Nah, we're gonna go with gray. We're gonna do it like a dark gray. Let me see if I can make sure I find one that's kind of matches up with the Makeup Revolution palette, so that we can get a very similar gray. That one, it's a little lighter. Well, no, that's about the same. Yeah, that's about the same right there. All right, so we've got one that's just about the same. We'll do this Wednesday color on this one. Cut that off a little bit. And I get 2 passes with it, so a little bit of fallout right there. Even after I tamped it off. That mix in there a little bit. Wipes off pretty easy though, so that's good. All right, here's our second pass. Tap that off. Pretty solid after the second pass. So that's a good matte. The mattes swatch horribly, but they seem to work pretty dang well when they're actually in action. So that's pretty dark, like a pretty dark gray. All right, now let's try the gray here. Makeup Revolution gray. Oh, that's a little better than the white at least, but it's definitely lighter. See, these palettes are just like working the opposite way that they worked um, with the swatching, which is really funny because these mattes worked so much better than for swatching than the cremated palette. Okay, so again, this one will probably only take 3 passes to get that nice solid gray like the cremated palette did, but it looks pretty decent even with 2 passes. It's a soft look, but it is not quite the same as you can see. Like, just a little lighter. Hi Misty. Sorry I didn't see you a second ago. All right, now we're gonna do the black matte. Finally, I tried to do this at first, and I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do first. All right, get this first pass. I am so unimpressed with this black matte. It is not like black to me. It looks like it in the pan. It looks like a nice black, but it's just not really like as nice of a solid black as I was hoping it was going to be. Yeah, you did miss me swatching, but you can always, catch that, replay. But these palettes are both working very kind of opposite of what their swatching did, so this is the more important part, I suppose. A little bit of fallout with that, but kind of seems to wipe off somewhat easy. Not quite as easy as that gray did when it had some fallout. Okay, so that's the 2 passes with the black for the cremated. Run that a little bit right there. Pretty good. All right, let's get the black version. Let's see, this one right here. Pretty sure this one was the darkest one. No, I think this one was. All right. I'm gonna take this off real quick because it's gonna get right in the way. That little ball roll around. All right. I liked this black when I swatched it. I liked it much better than the cremated palettes black when I swatched it. But it's looking like it might have to do like about 3 or 4 passes, just like the rest of them, to get a nice solid color. But that's not a deal breaker for me. I don't prefer that. I prefer honestly like 1 pass to, get me my color, but 2 is more, acceptable for me, and I'm not keen on it taking more than that. But it's definitely not like a full-on deal breaker. So it's okay. It's pretty okay. So the Makeup Revolution mattes seem to be a little muted when using them if you only do the 2 passes. We're gonna do what we're gonna do is I'm going to actually go over and see with 3 or 4 passes to see if we can actually match this up. But I wanted to do it with just the 2 passes to see exactly, how that held up in comparison, because, a nice fair comparison. But now that we've done that, which they're pretty, you know, pretty decent. Like, I definitely like the foils better on the Makeup Revolution palette with how it was extremely hard to pick up the that white chunky foil in this cremated palette. Like, it was extremely hard. It did not pick up with any brushes. Like, I tried a harder brush, I tried a softer brush. It didn't want to pick up, and that like really bothered me because it swatched beautifully. So I had to use my finger, and even using my finger to get it in the corner of my eye right there, I think it might do a little better. Like if we do it on the lid, maybe, so you can actually drag it. But if you're just like tapping it, it just does not really want to like pop. Like it's as compared to its swatch, it's just not going. And then this foil, you know, it looks when you use your finger, it's pretty much the same as, you know, it worked a little better with a harder brush. It actually worked a little bit, but it's definitely something that worked a lot better with the finger, kind of like, you know, with the cremated palette, but it actually worked a little bit with the brush slightly. But it definitely shows up the way it swatches. So when you actually put it on there with your finger. So I definitely like that better. Um, Again, that being said, some of the foils in the cremated palette are definitely prettier than some of the foils in the Makeup Revolution palette, but um, the Makeup Revolution palette foils are very pretty. I like them a lot, and they have actual full side of foils instead of just some foils and some mattes. We've got mattes and exact same shades in foil version. So that's pretty freaking sweet. I like that. And then, you know, here you've got your, I mean, they kind of sort of match up the foil to the matte a little bit, but not, you know, not really. Only on some shades. So you're a little more limited in your shades, but a couple of the foils are pretty nice, and like the mattes are okay. They're not the best mattes ever, but they're not horrible for the cremated palette. The mattes in the Makeup Revolution, they're not amazing. They're okay. Like as you can see, it kind of holds up with the two passes. But we're gonna see here in just a second. Let me wipe this off. We're going to see how well it holds up. You know, like if we can get it to match exactly for how nice and covered that is, like the coverage, with a couple more passes. Because if that's the case, for the price, and if you don't want to support Jeffree Star or whatever, if I can get these Makeup Revolution mattes to match up exactly with just a couple more passes, I'd say worth it because it's half the price. And if you don't want to support Jeffree Star, then you've got a really good palette that matches up. Like you can pretty much find the same shades in this Makeup Revolution palette as you can this cremated palette for the most part. I mean, you're gonna have a shade here and there that you can't quite match up on both of them, but like for most of the shades, you can find one that matches in both these palettes. So that's pretty cool. So, all right, let's start with this white again. We don't really even need to do the passes on that shimmer shade right there because it actually performed better than the cremated palette's foil. So let's get this white and get another pass or two going on it. Oh yeah, I think especially maybe with a slightly less fluffy brush, you might be able to pick up a little bit more, or just put more primer, like put it on like right after you get your primer on instead of letting it sit like I like to do. I like to let the primer sit for a minute. Oh yeah, once we get that fourth pass in there, that looks pretty dang close. Like, yeah, that's a lot more white, like, than it was before. So yeah, we've got four passes right there. Let's go with this gray. I honestly don't think it would need a fourth pass, but it might. Yeah, no, it doesn't. So the gray, you probably just need like a third pass, but we're gonna go with a fourth anyway, just to see how nice and solid we can get it. Oh yeah, that fourth pass definitely like extra hit it right there. So we've got, yeah, that's pretty good. All right, let's get with this black and see how we. How much better on just the third pass on the black, honestly. Like the third pass is pretty dang close, but we're gonna go with the fourth just because we did with the rest of them. Oh, yeah, okay. So we got 3 or 4 passes, 3 for the darker colors. You're gonna need 4 on the Makeup Revolution one for the lighter colors to get them to be as solid as the cremated palettes matte shades. But as you can see, it's pretty damn close in color, and you know, once you get that 3 or 4th pass on there, that's pretty solid. Like they look almost the same. And then you've got the foils that the angle is different on because I've got a different light coming through here. So, but in person, the foil is just as very pretty. Like I actually like the foil on this side better for the Makeup Revolution. So all in all, like in total, they're both. I think like this is a objectively speaking, like no bias. This is a good palette. It's quality. This is pretty good palette too. It's it takes a couple more passes to get nice and solid for its mattes and stuff. The foils are absolutely beautiful. I love the foils in this palette. So they're gorgeous. So it's a good palette. Like so we've got like what is this, like a 40 some odd dollar palette, $50 palette. This is like around $20, maybe 25, depending on where you get it from. So it's like half the price. Pretty much the same shades and then some. You've got extra shades in here, and you've got the the exact same foil shades as you do the matte shades on each side. So you've got plenty of range with this. You've got pretty good range with this, but plenty, like a lot of range with this. The foils are nice in both, if you can get them to work properly for this one, apparently. But the foils are nice in both. And, depending on who you do or don't want to support, there you go. So this is absolutely an amazing alternative. I very much like it. I'm very glad that one of my friends had mentioned it because she uses it and she does absolutely gorgeous looks with it, like beautiful looks. She's a gorgeous model. So I'd say this Makeup Revolution Colourbook palette. It's the 01 is a very good alternative. Like it's the CB01 Colourbook palette. It's an absolutely amazing alternative to this if you want an alternative to the cremated palette. If you want something like it. So both good. Again, definitely not a Gothic Dream palette. I mean, you can obviously do some Gothic-ish look, but it's very limited. Like being in the Gothic community and have been in it for a little while now, I can tell you that like the basic what people think, like outsiders think, oh you just Gothic people mostly just use black and whatnot. Like we actually do like quite a few colors. We just like to mix it with the black a lot of the times. So it's just like it's so limiting. Like it's like for him claiming that it's a Gothic Dream palette, it's not. It's not a Gothic Dream palette. You can use it for Gothic looks, but for me, it's not a Gothic palette because it's just so limiting. It's that's it. It's just like it doesn't have any color in it for that gods love. Like we absolutely adore red. Like like some red shades and stuff like that. That would have been great for the Gothic palette. Was it as bad as you thought it would be? Like as thought it would be? I knew that it would have good quality. But my main issue that I knew was going to be with this palette is the limit for a Gothic palette. So yes, it was as bad as I thought it would be on that aspect. I knew it would be quality product because, you know, I've tried Jeffree Star stuff before, so I didn't have any issue with that. I knew that was gonna, you know, be pretty good. Though I was actually very disappointed in the black matte. This is after a couple passes, but like from the way it looks in the pan, it looks very, very dark, and it's not that way when you actually get in real life. So we've got kind of a dark camera, but if I get up closer, you can see it's not quite as, it's pretty close to that dark gray. It's not a solid black like it looks in the pan. So that is actually a very big disappointment. A surprise in the palette is that shimmer black, like that foil black right there. That is an absolutely beautiful color. Another disappointment is this weird chunky glitter foil white. That did not want to work properly for me. Like it did not want to pick up on any brush. And using my finger, it just didn't want to, unless you can drag it, like push down and drag it. It just, for having to tap it into the corner, it didn't want to work properly. It's kind of sparkly the way it came out, kind of like a glitter, but the swatch looked like an actual very beautiful foil because I was able to drag it, and that produced a super gorgeous foil that I was expecting to have here, and that didn't happen. So this palette actually, as compared to the other stuff I've tried from Jeffree Star quality wise and stuff, like even like I think I have the Blue Blood palette. This is actually a little bit of a letdown. It's got a couple of surprises that I absolutely love, but it's got a couple of big letdowns for me. Like the two of the main colors that I would use are pretty big letdowns. So I'm kind of bummed about that, but it's got a couple of pretty surprises. So I think it's an okay palette. It's definitely, for me anyways, is not like the best palette, awesome, whatever, but it's not awful either. It's a good quality palette, and I will definitely use some of those shades in here. That glitter black is gorgeous. I think the Tati Beauty palette has a really pretty foil black too, but like this one's really gorgeous. So that's really nice. I'll definitely be using the crap out of that, and maybe a couple of other foils in there. So I'd say like the best part of this palette is definitely some of those foils. They're gorgeous foils. This has pretty decent foils. They're not absolutely eye-popping like foils like these are in the Cremated palette, but they're pretty dang good. Like half the price type thing. That's pretty nice. And the white foil worked for me much better than the Cremated palette. So like both palettes have like ups and downs, that where I would use certain colors way more than the others, and they've both got slight letdowns and slight surprises. So for me, they're pretty equal palettes all in all. Once you I'd say like to make them not equal, like to put this one down just a little bit more, is the fact that you have to do a couple more passes, just like 1 to 2 more passes than you do for this one to get the colors solid. But if you take that out of the equation, they're pretty equal palettes for me, and this one's cheaper. So for me to like go out and buy it myself, I'd probably buy this one just because I am poor and I don't personally want to support Jeffree Star. But as far as probably which one I'm going to reach for the most, just because I don't like to take a shit ton of time doing my makeup, so having to do those extra passes, I'll probably reach for this one more first. But once this is gone, I'll keep buying this one because it's cheaper and it's not supporting Jeffree Star, and it works pretty much the same. I'm just going to have to put extra passes over. So it's just going to take me extra time to do the same exact looks with this one as it would with this one. So I think it's a really great alternative. So, I mean, quality-wise, this one's a little bit better, but alternative-wise, this is a great alternative. So I think this was a really nice, kind of really successful comparison. I really enjoyed doing this. This was fun. One of these days, I'm going to get a hold of that Lime Crime palette for those of you watching it later or now, and I will do another comparison with this one and the Lime Crime gray shade palette, because I do want to like try and find as many alternatives to this one as I can. So it'll be kind of really fun because I'll pick a different type of look to do a little bit with this one and the Lime Crime one when that time comes. That'll probably be later down the road because that's actually a fairly expensive palette for me. They're actually fairly on par with price for the palettes. So that might be a little bit, but that's kind of good anyways, because we don't want to do like a bunch of the, like comparisons of this one and another palette in a row. So it'll give me time to stick some more stuff in between. So it was super fun doing this comparison. It was different. I really liked doing that. It was really, really fun. So I really enjoy it. I'll get a couple uses out of this palette for sure, even just for the lives, let alone, doing some makeup looks and stuff like that. So I'll get to do some more comparisons with this one and another palette. So it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And thank you guys again from the Makeup by Design admins and mods and stuff for the cremated palette. I very much enjoyed it. It was a nice surprise that, I was looking forward to doing, like having this specifically for this comparison stuff, because I really, really, really wanted to do that. Like I really wanted to find some comparisons. So I'm still looking forward to doing more comparisons with this cremated palette as to, comparing to some other palettes with a similar shade range-ish or, like gray shade palette. So this was fun. I really enjoyed it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I am super, super happy about this. Like, I really like both of these palettes. They're very nice. Like, again, like I said, I wouldn't personally buy this one with my own money or whatever, but I'm very happy to have it as far as, I want it from the Makeup by Design group and stuff, and I'm definitely going to be using it with my gothic looks and whatnot, like the more black ones without any, colors in there or something. But, and then I'm also going to be using this once this is gone for sure, because this is a very great alternative to that for me to buy with my own money, because it's a lot more affordable and I don't have to support Jeffree Star. Like, so I am very happy with getting to do this live. And that is just all thanks to the Makeup by Design group, because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten a hold of this palette, because again, I wouldn't have bought it with my own money. And I still am cranky that he called it the Gothic Dream palette, and it's not. To me, it is definitely not a Gothic Dream palette. So I was just like, so I wouldn't have been able to do this live without them, providing this palette to me, and for the win for the challenge that I did for that. So I'm very, very, very happy that I got to do this. Not just for myself, because it was very fun. I got to see how they compared and everything, but for other people that really, really, really want to have a similar palette to this, but don't want to support Jeffree Star or can't afford it, they get to see an alternative to that. And I really think that's important to find alternatives for either of those reasons. Like I love Tatcha, and I like to find I tried really hard to find an alternative to what their water cream felt like on my skin, and it took a while, but I found something from ELF that feels very similar. That's a lot cheaper because I can't afford the Tatcha. I did, from the Makeup by Design group, win a little Tatcha, package that has the water cream in it, so that's really nice, and I'll probably use that for special occasions because I don't want to use the crap out of it for just random. So it'll be for like photo shoots and stuff. But like, as far as me buying it, that's not really a thing that's going to happen unless I start making a shit ton of money or something randomly, you know? So it's just like, I like to find alternatives for that because I can't afford, certain things. And I know a lot of other people can't either. So that's a really good reason to even just do these comparisons in general. But when it comes to Jeffree Star specifically, a lot of people, even people that used to enjoy getting his makeup but don't anymore because of, the problematic crap that he's done and said and everything, and that's super understandable. It's just like they really would love to have an alternative to some of the stuff that he makes. And I think, it's important to do that for both of those reasons to have a live like this. So I'm really happy that I got to do it. And I'm really excited to get to do it some more in the future with at least the Lime Crime Great Shape palette that's out there. And then maybe I'll find some more later on that I can get a hold of to do a comparison with, or I think I can get another of the Colourbook palettes. They have all sorts of colors. Like they have a red one, they've got a blue one. I think they might have one that just has a whole bunch of different colors in it. But I think I definitely want the red one for myself. But I think I might be able to just get a hold of the blue one at some point as well and do a comparison between the Blue Blood and the blue Colourbook palette. So I think that might be I think this might have just set me off on doing this, might have just set me off on a fun little comparison thing when it comes to Jeffree Star products that I have and finding a comparison. I could probably do it. Honestly, I might actually, not next week, but the week after, because I already have something planned for next week. It's a not a well known brand. It's like an off little brand. That I had won a palette. I don't remember who's it from. I'm sorry, my memory is so horrible. Let me find her real quick. Oh yeah, Courtney Spooks. She sent me a little palette, and I don't know where it went. It's a Classy or whatever. It's a nice little brand or something. So I'm gonna swatch a palette. It's a small palette from them next week. And then the week after that, what we can do is I can go through, and I'm pretty sure I have a comparison palette for one of the Jeffree Star highlighter palettes, like actual palette. So that'll be kind of cool. I'm gonna look through it. I'm not gonna make any promises, but I'm pretty sure I have a comparison palette for that, and I'm pretty sure it's the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. So I'll have a look at them to see if they're similar in shades. But yeah. So I think this doing this may have just set in motion a whole bunch of trying to do comparisons and find comparisons with Jeffree Star products that I already have from forever ago. So fun. But yeah, so that just makes it extra great that the Makeup by Design people sent me this beautiful palette to so that I could do this and swatch it and compare it and all that good stuff. So thank you guys. I am so happy about it, and like it's going to continue to because I'm going to continue to do comparisons with other palettes with it. So it's going to keep going. So I'm really happy about it, and thank you guys very much. Anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I can't wait to switch over to my new camera once I get that connector piece. I'm going to order it as soon as payday hits this Friday. And I don't know if I'm pretty sure it won't show up in time for next Monday's live, but it will show up in time for the Monday after that. So hopefully we'll have a much nicer quality video for the live, which I'm very excited to try it out. I'm so excited. So yeah, if you liked it, I would very much enjoy the like and subscribe. If you know anybody that really would love to have an alternative to a Jeffree Star palette and they don't want to support Jeffree Star or they can't afford Jeffree Star, I would definitely not mind if you shared this with them. And yeah, I really look forward to seeing you guys next week. And again, I'm really sorry for missing the live last week. It's just that palette just didn't show up in time, and I just was not ready with anything else. So sorry about that. So Anyway, again, as always, I am not good at saying goodbye, so we're just going to go bye bye.